Hey guys, welcome in. So I wanted to make a quick video after quite a few requests about how we use the -4 standard deviation of the 30-second opening range candle. So this is not something that I found. This is something that I happened to see on Twitter one day from an account known as Markos Mom. I will link their Twitter below as well as the tweet below, so you guys can have all the standard deviations that they posted, so you guys can draw the fib out exactly as I'm going to show you here tonight. So basically, what it is we draw a Fibonacci from the 30-second opening candle. So from the 9:30 to the 9:30 30-second candle, we draw a Fibonacci, and we look for price to extend to either the -4 to the downside or the 4 to the positive side, depending on what side you draw the Fibonacci. You're looking for four standard deviations of the 30-second opening candle. And after I show you guys here, I'm going to pick a random date just so you guys know I'm not choosing something wild and something, hindsight. I'm going to show you how price reacts at these levels and how you can use them every day. It's a great tool. Obviously, you come into the market every single day and you have your levels already, but there are some days you wake up late, the kids aren't cooperating, whatever reason it is. This gives you a quick means to some levels to look for. So what we have noticed in my Discord is these -4 levels tend to line up with some kind of liquidity levels, some kind of fair value gap, order block, some kind of PD array that needs, tapped, needs some love, and that usually gives us a little bit of a clue to where price is going for the day. So we like to see where the -4 lines up, the -8 and the -16. We'll go over all of these once we get into the chart. So first things first, I want to get into the. I want to do a random date generator. So I just chose this site. Um, I just want to look from 2023 to 2025 because I'm not sure how far going back if it works with the lower price of NQ, of course. So I want to see what date it chooses. So it chooses July 12th of 2023 for us. So we're gonna go to July 12th of 2023. So let's start a new session of the -4. We'll call it -4, and we will go to NQ. And it was what? July 12th. July 12th of 2023. We're going to start from here. And we're going to go all the way to until today. Obviously, we're not going to go this far, but we'll just go here. But this is where I want to start. Like I said, so let's go to -4. Let's go to a full screen mode, blow this up for you guys. Let's get rid of this volume. Why FX replay always likes to throw that in there. Big thing when you're always on FX replay, you want to make sure you're on New York time. It always resets. So make sure you set to Toronto or New York time. So I've already got this set up from prior back testing. 9:30 as next day open. So we're gonna move ahead to next day open, and we're gonna see where price lines up. Uh, so we're gonna skip ahead a minute here. We're gonna see where our first 30-second candle lines up. So let's go down to our 30-second chart, and we're gonna look at our first 30-second candle. First 30-second candle is the candle that starts at 9:30. So this is our fib. This will be our Fibonacci right here. You can either pause the video copy these down, or like I said, they'll be in the video description below, because I want to give credit where I found this, but I found it incredibly useful to spot, to like look for reversals or anything of that nature. You can ask anybody from the Discord. We use this every single day and draw these levels out. We actually have a indicator as well, which I will link in the description below, made by Out of Options, that plots these Fibonacci's for you every single day. So with that, there's your Fibonacci. So what we're gonna do is we're going to plot it. So our first candle, 9:30 to 9:30, 30 seconds. So here we go. Quite a big range today. So you see, obviously 5 here because the 1 makes it. Like I said, it's not exactly 4, but these were the Fibonacci's that the person that I got it from used. So if you look here, 5.045 actually means 4, because you're already starting at 1 here, and then negative 4.0445. So what we're going to be looking for, the main rules are, you want to look for reversals off of 4 with a potential to move back into the 30-second opening range. If you start closing below -4 here and start using -4 as resistance, you look for -8. If you start pushing through -8 and closing through, you don't want to fade the trend. It means we're in distribution, and you don't want to fade the trend until we hit -16. That's what I have taken from it. I prefer just to use -4 and obviously the 5 or the 4 up here, so see if they have any confluence with a higher time frame level going into open. So what I'll do is I will plot this on the first 30-second candle. I'll go to like an hourly chart and see if it lines up with anything. Looks like we're at all-time highs here. So you might not get anything here, but let's see, where does -4 line up? Just really these order blocks down here. So I'm just gonna play this out. We'll go down to the 5-minute chart, and we'll see if we get any kind of reaction off of it. Like I said, it's very, very rare that we go a day without tapping the -4. And then you'll see. So what happens? So what happens is we get through the F4 here. We start closing above and using that as support. So what I said, like down here, we'll see if this pushes up to that -8. So I'm not a big fan of using it as like, okay, we close above, now we should push up to here. Like I said, I'd like to stick just to the -4s here as a open target. So like if I don't have any targets, to either side, I like to target the -4. So if we could have found a long inside of here, I'd be looking for to take profit at that -4. We'll run it through here and see what happens. So right around 4 o'clock, we almost push up to that -9. So not much there, but like I said, it's a nice. You see, we still get a reaction here. Why these levels work, I have no idea. They just work. So let's go to the next day. Like I said, we're gonna probably do about 30 days here of back testing and see what happens. Looks like, look what we hit the head on the next day. But let's skip ahead. Not skip ahead, but let's go to the 30-second chart. We've already hit open here. Let's go to the 9:30 candle, and you'll see we got boom to boom. So here's our -4 and -5. I always like I said, I always like to go to the higher time frame and see where stuff lines up, because it sometimes can give us a good idea for draw. You got unmitigated order blocks down here where price could draw to, but this looks very, very bullish here on open. But let's see what. Let's go to a little lower time frame, and we'll run it out. So you see, we go back to the negative to the opening range. I said we're gonna have an inside day of the -4 potentially. Like I said, so basically there's close. Very rare that we have days that goes into a -4. Like I said, it works best when it lines up with a higher time frame level. So let's see what the next day has in store. Next day open. Let's run it through. Let's go to the 30-second chart. 30-second chart. Let's get rid of yesterday's fib. We'll go to a new fib, and we're gonna look at the 9:30 candle. 9:30, pretty big candle. 749 down to, so it'll be about 80 points in either direction here. So we'll play it out, see what happens. I just want to show you guys the reactions we get when we get to these -4 levels. It's absolutely incredible. There would be the close. So see, you see we got up to that -4, and then a little bit reversal. See, you see why this is probably like the -6, but that's not something that was talked about when I first discovered this. I just like to target the -4s because very, very rarely, like I said, that we do not hit it. So let's close that out. We'll go to the next day. And like I said, you can look for reversals off of -4. Doesn't mean you're going to get it. Just use them as early targets every single day, especially if they line up with a higher time frame like level of liquidity. So let's go to the next day. But that's really all. That's really all that it is. It's nothing groundbreaking. It's nothing, it's gonna be like, oh my god, this is gonna make me a profitable trader. It's just a great, I, it's just a great tool to add some extra levels to your charts to see where we could possibly reverse. I will say, once we hit the -16 on our like distribution and our trend days, you do not want to be fading that. Once we hit that, I would absolutely be looking to take profit. I've never seen price hit -16 and then keep on going lower. I've always seen some kind of retrace first, and then maybe we continue lower after that. Usually it's into close because it's some kind of trend day. By the time we get to the -16, the day's over. But let's see what happens here. Let's go to our 30-second opening candle. You see we got -4. We'll just run it out here and see what happens. It's like very, very slow. Let's go ahead by 5 minutes. You see -4 gives us a little reaction there. Acts as a lot of resistance, but then we finally close above it. Like I said, it usually, like, per the tweet, means you should be looking for that -8. I'm not a fan of just like being like, okay, we start to close above. I just, like I said, just as a long target once you start to break through that 30-second opening range. So we'll go to the next day. We'll get rid of this. We'll go to our next day. And a 30-second opening range candle. Let's go ahead, 5 minute. Holy, okay. Okay. This might be, let's see. All right, we can still draw this out though. Even if it's oh, we should be good. Yeah. Nothing's hit yet. So let's see what happens. But it's really all of that it is. Like I said, we draw it every single day on the charts. We target it every single day. Actually, today, you can see we didn't have much of like a buy side target above, and we took a long. So we didn't have much to look forward to above because where we were longing to, we had already hit a certain spot, so we knew we should push higher. Didn't have a particular level, so we longed to -4. I will link that video below as well, so you guys can check that out and see how we use these levels in intraday. But I just want to show you these levels. Look how the -30, the 30-second opening range holds here. Um, and then basically right off the -4 there, you get a nice bounce. But for some reason, these levels like to hold price. Um, then obviously we just chop here. Looks like into there. So there's that. We'll go to the next day. But very, very, very sensitive levels for whatever reason. Like I said, I don't know why. It just seems absolutely wild that a 30-second opening range deviations would have any importance, but I find it very interesting. We go a little smaller. So let's play out. There you see we deliver off the 30-second opening range down to the 4 standard deviation. So if you cut a short inside of here somehow, maybe you got to break a structure down, retrace to an order block that is responsible. If you haven't checked out the upcoming course, you'll learn from these order blocks here. But break a structure up to the responsible order block and then down to the -4 there. So we'll see what happens here. But you see why this is why I don't trust always getting to the -8. You'll get this and then you'll get a big turnaround. So not a big fan of the -8s. I'll keep saying it. I like to stick just to the -4s as targets. However, I didn't mean to skip ahead that fast. I will say there's a lot of times we've noticed that we'll get close to the -4, get a retrace, and then we'll come all the way back down to tap into that -4. So definitely something worth paying attention to. Um, so keep that in mind as well. That we a lot of times we'll get close, retrace, and then we'll end up coming back to it. I'm not on this day. If we got a retrace from like here, I would not have trusted any longs until we came back down in tap that -4. That's how insane these levels are. Um, you'll see it quite often. Like I said, this is 2023, might be a little different, but in today's 2025 world, we see it every single day. Just ask anybody that's in the jungle Discord. We'll go to the next day and see what happens. Sometimes FX Replay likes to do this. I think this actually went to a new day. It just didn't take us, so potentially. Let's see. Yeah, I think this is a brand new day. So it looks like it already played out, but let's see what happened off of these levels. Never mind. This was the same day. All right. Let's skip ahead a little bit and then go to a new day if it'll take us there. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. We'll skip ahead by 10 minutes. All right. If anybody has any idea for fixing that, I see it happen so much. I think it's just a bug that FX Replay has. But let's go ahead here. Let's go to 30-second. And we'll go to our 30-second opening candle. Magnet, boom. So these are our -4 levels. So we'll go back and look left. What do we see? So we see -4 kind of lining up with what? With these lows. -4 kind of lines up with what? These order blocks. So we can see both sides happening here. We'll let her play out. So we know we have higher time frame levels on both sides. Let's go a little bit higher here. See what happens. You see how we get that reversal right off that -4 level, and how it lined up with those 15-minute lows. It just whenever you see this almost line up with a low or a high up here, it's it just brings a lot more instinct or whatever you want to call it to your mind. Be like, okay, it makes sense. I know we should hit -4 on one side at least, and it lines up with these lows. It just gives you like a little like light bulb in your brain that says, okay, I think we should be going here. So that's a great example right there. So let's see what happens. Um, they say you should return back up to the 30-second range. I don't count on that. Like I said, I stick to my levels here. Let's go to the next day. Let's get rid of these levels. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. I'll go back to our 30-second chart. But this is how I just use them. I just use them to plot some extra levels, and if it gives me a little extra confluence at some higher time frame lows or highs, then I tend to favor that's where price wants to draw to first in the morning. So here's our levels. Let's go to like our 15-minute chart and see if it lines up with any highs or lows. -4 doesn't line up with much. It does line up with a little. Looks like we got a new dog or a new day opening gap sitting up here for your non-ICT traders. You see, we got this gap hits that -4. And what does our -4 line up with here? Not too much. So I would favor that we're going up to this -4 level, up to that new day opening gap up there. That would be my bias going into the day. We'll see if we get up there. You see how we missed the -4 here? We missed the -4, and then we come all the way back down for it. So this would have been wrong, right? Going up for that -4, but look how we missed it here. This is exactly what I was talking about before. Look how we miss it here. We go all the way back up to the 30-second opening range, and then we end up coming all the way back down for it. So you must be aware that this happens a lot. So keep that in mind right there. So this is a good test here. So you see, once we break the net, so the one thing I will keep in mind when we do break the -8, like I don't care if we break the -4. I don't expect us to always go to the -8. But when we break the -8, I expect us to go to the -16 because that means we are usually in distribution mode, and we should see these lows hit down here. What do they line up with? These lows down here. So I would expect to run on sell side down here. So we'll run it out, see what happens. And there's your stab on the lows. So fake out there. You see here, great example, great example. Of the power of these -4 levels. Let's see if we get a. So remember how I said I would not fade the -16. Let's see if we get any kind of retrace here. What time is it? Oh, it's okay. It's 4 o'clock here. And then Asia ensues. We still see here. Look how the levels still come into play, and why I don't fade anything after the -16. So obviously 17 means 16 because of the one up here. So let's go to the next day open and see what it has in store for us. But hopefully you guys are seeing this. This is, like I said, these I don't understand why, but these levels work. So I'll go back to the 30-second. We'll see what she has to offer. Let's go back to the 30-second. Boom, boom. Oh, so we already hit the -4. See how we hit -4 right off open, and we're starting to retrace. All right, close through. Notice if you were long already, great spot to always be trimming at that -4. Obviously it's hindsight here, but let's see if it lined up with anything. -4 didn't line up with too much here. But I'll say -8 lines up with these highs. But all right, we'll just play it out here and see if we get a close above that -8. All right, we get closer to the -8. Let's see if we get a push up to that -16 now that we've closer to the -8. Remember that -16 basically takes us back up to that new dog that we missed yesterday. So we'll see if this plays out. So we'll go back to the -4, and I think we're gonna close. Okay, so we end up closing right at that -8. So, and then looks like we're gonna push up to it during Asia. So, there's that. Look how these levels still though. Like I said, it's not 100% accurate, but you'll notice reactions all the time at these levels. They are 100% worth pointing out. Like I said, the easiest way is to use out of options key levels indicator. It doesn't just plot these; it's a free indicator, but it can plot midnight open. It plots so many different things, but it also plots all of these deviations. So you don't even have to plot it today. All you do is just click the indicator on. We'll look at a few more days here, and then we'll wrap it up. But just had a few requests to make a video for this 30-second, and I want to go over it and how I use it. So hopefully you guys can take something from this and use it to gain some payouts in the future. So 30, 30. Let's see how this plays out here. I got a 5-minute. Before I see anything, let's go back. Let's go to our higher time frame. See what sits here. Not too much. -4 just takes us up to that new day opening gap. -8 takes us down to here. Like I said, your higher time frame bias needs to come into play when it comes into these levels. But we'll see what kind of we'll see what happens here. Like I said, very, very rare that we never hit at least one side. Very, very rare. And we've noticed, obviously, if it tends to be a day where we don't hit -4, it's usually a day that you didn't want to trade. Look at this mess here. Look at this absolute chop fest. Accounts were blown on this day. So nothing there. We'll go to the next day. Pretty big opening candle here, it looks like. Disregard. Actually, no. It's still a pretty big candle. So, all right. So our range is here. Where does our -4s line up? -4 lines up with, looks like you got Asia highs sitting up here. So I would expect my bias would be that we go up and run these highs. Right? You got nice trend line liquidity and everything sitting up there. We'll see what gets ran here. Go to the 30-second. We'll see. Let's go a little bit higher here. Let's go up to the 5. Pretty choppy. Pretty choppy again. So back-to-back days of not running anything. Again, another day of just choppy price action. So we'll check one more day. More day here. We'll go to 30-second. $30, boom, boom. Like I said, we still have those highs above. Let's go to the 15. That's how we check. What does it line up with? Not much down there. Not much up there. Looks like we got a nice opening range gap. And we'll see what plays out here. So through the -4. Holds the -8. Let's see what happens here. Close back below. Let's see if we push that -16. Does it line up with anything significant? Not necessarily, but usually usually this means we're in distribution mode and we should push that -16. So let's see if it pushes to it. And it looks like um, we're already into close here. So I'm not sure. Let's see if it runs it out during Asia or during London. Um, so yeah, pretty much down there for London, and then next day open. So let's see if the next day open actually lines up there, and then we'll wrap it up here. I'm just curious if, because obviously these lows were important in that sell side, but let's see what that 930 candle looks like for this day. I know I said one more day, but I could sit here all day and see how these levels send price or don't send price. This is a good example here. We just missed the -4. Almost wouldn't be trusting shorts down to the other side here. I would expect a retrace back up here to tap that -4. So we'll see if we get it. Let's go to a little higher time frame here. And see how we push back up to it, back up to that -4 there. So -4 price still holding there. We finally close above. Going into that 12:30 time. And then obviously we probably get into close here, but you see how whenever we miss that -4, we come back down, holds the 30-second opening range, these are order blocks, then we push all the way back up. So little introductory lesson for the 30-second opening range deviations. Like I said, they're not something that you can trade solely, but they are a fantastic it is a fantastic tool to add as far as levels to your charts every single day. Obviously this was 2023, but especially in today's markets, you will see so many times reversals, or you may not get like a full reversal off of -4, but you'll get reversals like this where we'll hit the -4, and this was probably like a lower time frame, 1 minute 50%. So it's just a great area to be taking profits, because you'll always see, not always, because we'll never say always in these markets, but it's always a great spot to be trimming. But you'll usually see a reaction off of these levels whenever we hit them every day. So those that are asking for the video, I hope this clarifies everything. It's so simple. I will post, like I said, I'll post the tweet where I got this from Markos Mom, the X account below. I'll post their account, their tweet, as well as the video of us taking a long position today up to the -4, because we didn't have any other targets above. So with that, hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see you guys next time.